What's up, guys? This is the Gospel According to Mark with a C. He is I, and I am he. Just taking some time to tell you exactly what's on my mind. Thank you for joining me once again, my friends. Now listen, before I go any further, let me start off by reading something to you guys, and I'll explain to you why I'm reading it, okay? We're going to start off with this, and you can take this as a disclaimer. This is the definition of doctor-patient relationship as given on Wikipedia, okay? It says here, the doctor-patient relationship is a central part of healthcare and the practice of medicine. A doctor-patient relationship is formed when a doctor attends to a patient's medical needs and is usually through consent. Okay? All right. The reason why I'm reading this for you is because whenever I do these videos where I talk about my opinions on what's going on with this so-called pandemic, is it or isn't it, is because inevitably someone will come into the comment section, not naming any names of course, and will charge me with thinking that I am a doctor or knowing better than a doctor. Even though I've said many times on video, I'm not a doctor, however, I am a patient, okay? You guys seem to think that it's just a one-person phenomenon, okay? There is a doctor and there is a patient, okay? So when the doctor tells you something, you're supposed to say something back as the patient. Do you accept his recommendation? You know, do you accept his advice? As a patient, you have the right to express yourself, okay? It's a doctor-patient relationship. So please stop the hell telling me you're not a doctor. I'm a patient. I speak as a patient. It's going to be something that is done to me as the patient. I don't know why it's so hard to grasp that concept. Okay. Moving on. I want to talk to you guys about something that I saw Dr. Fauci say a few days ago, and I think that it's very important not to let this pass without giving this a little bit of attention, okay? So I want to read something to you guys so you can see the type of mentality that we're dealing with, and you can tell me, is this something that is conducive to the land of the free, and is this healthy for our collective mentality to have this type of idea floating around from people who we trust with our health and our well-being, okay? And this was on Fox News, I know, but you can find it everywhere. All right, Fauci is crushed for saying it's disturbing that a U.S. court can overrule the CDC. Dr. Fauci seems to believe that the CDC should be above the law, okay? Yes, he does. It says here, Dr. Anthony Fauci took major heat after lamenting on Thursday, that would have been last week, that it was disturbing that a federal court would rule against the CDC's COVID-19 travel mask mandate, adding his opinion, "This is not a judicial matter." Prominent conservative Twitter users crushed Fauci for his, quote, stupidity, with many accusing the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases director of thinking that he and the CDC are above the law and of being hell-bent on using COVID to control people. There's a concept. I think that's something that some of us have been suspecting for a while. It is, after all, about control. And as long as people bend over and spread those cheeks, it ain't gonna get any better, okay? But, you know, fortunately, I think more people are beginning to wake up and, you know, they're coming to the realization this is not the type of reality that we want. And we want to have a say in our own healthcare and the risk that we take with that. The doctors can give their recommendation, then we take it into advisement and we act accordingly. Fauci's irksome comments happened during a Thursday interview with CBS News about U.S. District Court Judge Karen Kimball Mizelle striking down the travel mask mandate on Monday. During the segment on the streaming show, Red and Blue, CBS anchor Robert Costa asked Fauci, "Do you personally agree or disagree with her interpretation of public health law?" Fauci responded, "Well, I clearly disagree. I mean, these types of things should be decided as a public health issue by the public health organizations. In this case, the CDC. This is a public health matter, not a judicial matter. So, obviously, The CDC will abide by the order of the court because it's a legal obligation, he continued. But one of the problems that we have there is that the principle of a court overruling a public health judgment by a qualified organization like the CDC is disturbing in the precedent it might send, Fauci concluded. Okay, it's interesting here. One of the problems we have is that the principle of a court overruling a public health judgment, as if the CDC is actually a judicial, organization. It's not. All you can do is give your advice. It can't make a judgment. It can give you, like I said before, their recommendation based upon their knowledge and their research, and that's about it. I sense an overreach, but this is not something new. This has been going on for a long time with these guys and people who think like them. All right, so it says here, Representative Dan Bishop, RNC, responded on Twitter, "What's disturbing is that Fauci and the bureaucrats think they're above the law." Conservative radio host Mark Davis tweeted, "Stupidity or willful blindness. The hashtag CDC is entitled to whatever opinions it wishes. It does not have the right to impose them through law into the interiors of the aircraft." He added, "This is why hashtag Judge Mizell was right. None of this is about anyone's view of masks. It's about the rule of law." I'll just close it out by saying this, reading this. West Virginia Attorney General Patrick Morrisey tweeted, "Fauci may want to take a little time and review the Constitution and case law. The CDC must follow the law, just like any other agency or person." Morrisey then wrote, "We must fight against the woke left, which appears hell-bent on using COVID to control people as long as possible. Hashtag no to Fauci." All right, that's the end of that article. And listen, guys, I wholeheartedly agree. No matter how you might feel about Fauci, if you want to take his recommendations into your consideration, if you want to live by that, so be it. Do it. You know what I mean? But this idea that Fauci is pushing out there is very telling, where he believes that the government should not be allowed to tell the CDC what they can impose on the people. This is a dangerous idea. And for him to actually vocalize that is something that more people need to be looking at and thinking about. This is the guy that is going to, or is capable of, with nothing but a recommendation, all right, causing people to lose jobs, causing businesses to fall, all of these things. America is built on a system of checks and balances. All right, we learned that way back in grade school. If you don't have checks and balances, you don't have America. All right, this is what Fauci is proposing. And there's going to be someone who's going to come into the comment section who has no problem with this. And that's the reason why it's so dangerous, because we can't allow ideas like this to take root. It's a threat to everything we hold dear. In America, at least, but the whole world. Any society that values freedom, and freedom of choice, and respects the individual to do what they feel is best for themselves, and their families, should be threatened by this type of thinking. But I wanted to put it out there, guys, because like I said, I don't think this type of thing should fly under the radar. This is what we're faced with. This is something that we have to consider. Do what you want, all right, based on the information that we are given. The only question is, are we being given reliable information with which to make a sound decision regarding ourselves and our society at large? What exactly is the benefit to risk ratio when you're dealing with a disease that has a 99.9% recovery rate? When you're dealing with a disease where they're even saying now that more than half of the population out there has immunity, more than half at this point has had COVID. So they've developed this. They developed this immunity, as well as, whoever is getting jabbed or whatever, I don't know. You tell me, guys. I was disturbed when I heard that. But you can get in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about this. As always, you can like, you can share, you can subscribe. Catch me on Twitter, Rumble, Odyssey. And thank you for listening, guys. I will catch you on the next one. This is the Gospel According to Mark with a C. Rock on. Doctor-patient relationship.